Hey, what's up, beautiful people? This is Pretty Girl Loves Trap content, and this is my recap slash review of P Valley episode 7, yes, of season 2, titled Jackson. I don't know why I think about Miss Jackson if you're nasty, or I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Oh, I am for real. But actually, in terms of this episode, is referring to a city in Mississippi. Okay, so yes, y'all. Before we get into it, please make sure you are liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, and supporting your girl. Okay, I'm trying to get my subscribers up, so please, pretty please, okay, do all of the things that is scrolling down below, okay? But yes, guys, let's get into P Valley season 2, episode 2. So please feel free to let me know. Let me know how you felt about this episode. I mean, it definitely was different, not different, but um it was probably one of my least favorite episodes, but because the other ones were so much more impactful. But I definitely feel like definitely it was a great episode. It had a lot of great content. I feel like it was kind of like I don't want to say filler, but it was a progressive episode, to say the least. So I was here for it, of course. I love me some P Valley, but I definitely know they are going to gut punch us for the rest of the season. All right. So, yeah, y'all, it was a lot. Okay. So let's get into it. So it starts off with grandmother. Okay. Grandmother is over there singing, child. She is singing, and we are pretty much seeing the progression of her and her juke joint. We see her in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. Of course, she's wearing pink and all of these. Okay, so maybe that's where they came up with the name the Pink. Okay, when they started it as a script club. But as they're showing the progression of the decades, while she's performing. We're seeing the audience, of course, transition throughout the decades, and we're seeing, some transactions occurring, money exchanging between men and women. So I'm like, was you guys prostituting up in there? Was it a hoe house or what have you? Like, what do y'all, what do y'all think? Okay, I believe they made reference to this previously, but I don't necessarily want to speak to it because I don't recall the exact verbiage. Okay, so yes, y'all, I thought that was funny to me. Okay, but yes, look at grandmother looking all healthy, singing and whatnot. And of course, when the 80s come through, we see Clifford and his mama Beulah, okay? And I'm like, okay, Mama Beulah, um, we'll get into this a little later, but we have not addressed what happened to his mother. Okay, now we at least know that she's deceased. But yes, I need some more details, okay? Clifford, what happened to your mammy, okay, and your pappy? Out of pappy, please let me know, okay? So apparently grandmother is going through it, and this flashback, if you will, is coming through because grandma looks like she is near death. Okay, and her daughter comes and appears in the pink in the form of an angel, offer her a drink and what have you. I was like, oh, can we show cleavage like that in heaven? Can we show cleavage like that in heaven? Let me find me a little cute plunge dress. Okay, let me go ahead and show out. Just show out while I'm in heaven, okay? I'm here for the fashions, okay? I am here for the fashions, okay? Not everybody, you know, be wearing all white down here, but of course, up in heaven, we are all Lisa Rays, okay? We are all Lisa Rays with the all white. But yes, she was telling her daughter, I'm not ready to come yet. But her daughter was like, come, mother, come get a drink, relax, rest, relax, relate, release. Shout out to a different worlds, okay? But yes, grandmother says she ain't ready, y'all. She ain't ready. And look at her little pink boa. So cute. I love Loretta Devine. So Clifford and Haley, they had a little meeting or what have you. And she mentioned that, hey, yeah, they offered me 5 milli for the Pynk, okay? And he was like, excuse me, said what? So you could tell he had mixed feelings. He was like, dang, that's a lot of monies. Okay, I got 33%. Yeah, that's going to be looking good. But of course, he was saying, like, this may be a building to you, Haley, but this is my history. This is, what I've been given. I've been, handed this piece of property that is so important to me. And she was trying to be manipulative and say, yes, we're going to get everything that you and your family deserved. And he was like, boo boo, don't make this about me. Don't make this about me. This is about you. And she was like, well, yeah, pretty much you're kind of right. Okay. But this is about my child and this is about my struggle. Okay. Because the money that was used to buy the Pynk, yes, that definitely was owed to me. Therefore, whatever profit I will receive from the Pynk and the selling of it is going towards my dream. Okay. I have a dream. All right. And I'm a little annoyed. Okay. Because when they first started this scene, Clifford, he on a pole, what have you. And he got a little mask around his neck. But I'm like, you've been around grandmother all day for the past, actually, this is 3 days later, y'all. And Haley, she came in with a mask and then eventually took it off. And then when Clifford got close, she was like, 6 feet, 6 feet. And I'm like, can y'all put your mask on, please? And put a real mask underneath your fashionable mask, okay? I mean, don't get me wrong. I was all here trying to make my mask match my outfits. Okay, I still do because I still wear my mask, y'all. But y'all, I'm gonna need y'all to do better, okay? And don't let Toy back in that building, y'all. Do not let nasty behind Toy back in that building, okay? So, child, this is 3 days later, as I stated. They mentioned this. What's under this tank top, y'all? Because her stomach, I swear, it was fliggity flat when she told her mom she was pregnant. Like, was you just eating ice cream and pizza for 3 days and you bloated? Like, what's going on, boo? What is going on? The math ain't mathing. The inches ain't inching in. I need answers. Like, I don't understand. And at first I thought she had something like in there, because you know how girls like put like a pillow or something underneath their shirt to see how they look when they're pregnant. So I thought she was going to take something out, but she didn't. So I'm like, I'm confused. I'm confused. Okay. Like, what's going on here with this stomach, y'all? Let me know in the comments, please, 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 please. So, child, Little Murder, okay? Little Murder, he's still at Clifford's house. He rolling up a fat joint or what have you, and he's crying. He's getting flashbacks from Teak, just of them, on that last day, them having relations. Like, he has all of the flashbacks, and I felt so bad. I'm like, oh my God, he need a good mammy church big boob hug. Like, I just wanted to like embrace him. Like, it's okay, well, it's okay. So he hears like a little noise, upstairs or in the house. So he goes to tend to see what's going on. Okay. And what's going on is grandma. Okay, grandma ain't doing well. He was like, girl, you clammy. Like, what's going on here? And she was like, well, who are you, Isaac Hayes? I'm like, oh, grandma is really tripping now. He was like, no, it's LaMarcus. It's LaMarcus. She was like, LaMarcus? Little Murder, ma'am. Little Murder. She's like, I like that better. I like that better. I'm like, Lord. Now, note, we do see there's a bunch of medications on her nightstand, y'all. But have y'all taken grandmother to the hospital or to the doctor yet? Like, I understand this is the country, but y'all got something. Like, I'm confused. I'm so confused. But Little Murder was like, you need something in your belly. So he whipped up. He not just whipping up, I don't know if he sell crack, but I do know he at least sell weed. Okay. So he's known to being good up in the kitchen. Okay. He done made some candy yams, collard greens, I think maybe some pork chops and some macaroni and corn. Like, girl, Girl, did they have that all that in the fridge already? Like, did you go shopping? I mean, y'all act like y'all ain't got no hospital. Y'all probably ain't got no Instacart or what have you. Have nobody deliver no darn ingredients to. But I was like, Little Murder is like a whole catch out here in these streets. Like, he over there just cooking. And she was happy because she was like, that little stuffing and chicken that Clifford made, that was not hitting on nothing, okay? But she was like, all right, you keep cooking like that, you're going to make a, BITCH. I want you to stick around. He was like, oh, you flirting with me? She was like, she was like, I'm not the bitch that I'm talking about. And of course, we're referring to Clifford. And he was like, well, you got to put in a good word for me, Miss Ernestine, because he ain't trying to hear me right now. Okay. I was like, oh, this is so cute. Little Murder being like a whole little attendant. Oh my God. So Keyshawn, Derek, and them kids at the Piggly Wiggly, y'all. And I'm like, hold up, it's in the middle of COVID. Do all y'all really need to be up in the supermarket? Like, remember with COVID, like y'all tried to like minimize exposure. Why is y'all all the way out here in these streets? And why is Keyshawn the only one with a mask on? But I guess he's trying to make up for it because he's offering moon pies and all the snacks to her. And I'm like, I'm so tired of Derek. I'm so tired. And so I guess, he says that I don't want to say have an attitude, but he's trying to cheer her up. And he was like, well, we can go to the outlet mall in Jackson to get Rico the Prada booties that you want. And I'm like, hold up. Now, I haven't do my Googles to see how much Prada booties cost. But first of all, I'm not even paying no money for no name brand booties for a child that's going to grow out of them in like a month. That's number one. Number two, Derek, how you going to try to cheer me up with something that I possibly want with my money? My money, bruh. Like, you ain't doing nothing to earn no bread. So why are you offering to, I don't want to say take me shopping. I mean, if you consider driving to the outlet, I guess that's taking me shopping or driving me to go shopping. But I'm like, I was about to call this man Greg. What's his name? Derek. Derek, you so tired. You so tired. But if y'all see in the picture below, we see somebody peeping in the aisle. I'm like, who's that? So Keyshawn was like, is that Haley Lakeisha Autumn? Oh, yes, that is Haley Lakeisha Autumn. Okay, she over there peeping. So Keyshawn was like, Derek, I need to get some makeup because look at my black eye. Look at this shiner you done gave me. So I need to get some more makeup. So she meets Lakeisha in a little makeup aisle. And she was like, well, I guess you ain't decided to use the gun I gave you. She was like, I tried. So we see here in the photo that I don't know. I be trying to figure out which name I'm going to call her. Lakeisha. Okay, I'm calling her Lakeisha right now. She, takes her mask off. And I felt like, I mean, I may be looking too deep into it, but I felt like that was symbolic of her, like, unmasking her and showing her, like, hey, I see you. I mean, maybe, she kind of wanted to see if, her whole face is effed up because you can, kind of see the black eye with her mask on. But I thought that was a little symbolic moment. But she was like, there's other ways. There's other ways to get out. And so I'm like, ooh, Haley, what do you have under that wig of yours, that little brain? What is it thinking? Okay, so we hear some kids being bad, screaming in the background. And we hear Derek yelling, Keyshawn. I'm like, Derek, come on. You had them kids for 2 whole weeks. And I mean, he didn't really do well because he was beating on at least the oldest one. But I'm saying you should be able to know how to conduct yourself and conduct these kids in the grocery store. Don't get me wrong. I know some kids be spazzing out because I swear every time I go into Target, this little Carter Tommy in there just wailing. Okay. And I'm like, why am I always going to Target and somebody baby is having a temper tantrum? Not even a baby, like they be like between 3 and 5. Like I don't get it. Them type of kids, they need to be beat, okay? Well, no, I lied. Based on the circumstance of this episode, I don't want to say beat. because I actually don't believe in spankings in this juncture of my life. Okay. But you need to have that tight lip talk before you go into the store. Like, don't ask for nothing, don't talk, don't touch nothing, don't say nothing, don't do nothing. Like my mama, she was good with the tight lip. She was good with the tight lip instructions. Okay. But yes, I'm just interested in how Haley is going to help your girl. Okay. So back at, Clifford's house. Okay. He over there eating a murder's food. All right. And he was like, "Oh, this is good. This is good." I was like, "Yeah, see, it's a good catch. You need to hold on to him. Clifford, stop playing around, all right?" But he was, trying to get an update. Hey, what's going on with old girl Haley? And so he was telling him, like, yeah, they offer her 5 million. He was like, 5 million with your 33%. That's 1.65 million. I said, You you good with math too, little murder? You good with math too? Like, man. Clifford decided to call him Little Calculator. And early in the episode, he called him Little Homicide. And I forgot to tell you, Grandma Ernestine called him Chef Negro D. So we got Lamarcus / Little Murder / Little Homicide / Little Calculator / Chef Negro D. I mean, I'm just saying, at this point, he has more names than Haley / Akeisha / Autumn, all right? But y'all, that was funny to me, okay? But Clifford also proceeds to ask, Murder, like, how are you doing? Like, how are you doing? And I just love that. Like, I just wish, I can't even say I wish people ask that more, because we're in a society where that's kind of like the norm, when you greet someone, like, hey, how are you doing? Hey, how are you doing? That's kind of like the polite way of greeting someone. But honestly, I just think the way we're set up, especially, in our culture and in the United States, at least I can speak to that. What we can be so not okay, but just say we're okay. One, for the simple fact, we're not trying to let everybody into our drama, or is not the suitable person to tell our drama or what's going on with us. And, we're just kind of taught, in a sense, or trained to keep things and hold them to the chest for the most part. So, yeah, I just love when people really genuinely ask, like, hey, how are you doing? Even though Clifford is asking him for a specific reason, because he really just went through some traumatic stuff. But I just love the fact, I feel like we need to genuinely ask each other that more often, friends, family members, what have you. But we also did see Little Murder had some flashbacks also early in the episode, when Clifford, he actually burned his clothes from that evening with all the blood, what have you. So Cliff is a ride or die. I really appreciate that, y'all. So, child. Terica proceeds to tell her mammy, okay, Mercedes, that she was craving some ice cream with some hot sauce. And I'm like, what? Now, don't get me wrong. I love my toppings, okay? I love my chocolate sprinkles. I love my rainbow sprinkles. I love sometimes some nuts. I love caramel sauce, Hershey syrup. I love all of the things. Whipped cream. But hot sauce, girl. Hot sauce. Were you serious? Or were you trolling us? Okay. But she was like, okay, we can go ahead and get us some TCBY. And I was like, oh my God, I literally go there literally like once a week. My nephew loves TCBY yogurt, y'all. I love it too. I ain't gonna lie. And so she was like, okay, let's go. And so, they're in the car. And this girl is over here singing WAP, okay? Wet Punani. And I'm like, what? And the lyric came on about, pull out game week. I was like, oh, see, at this time, I would have whopped her MFing head in that MFing window. Okay, what are you talking about? Being grown. You literally being grown because you're over here pregnant. And now you in my presence being ratchet. And a hoochie mama, like, y'all see these pictures? That bottom picture, she was just like getting it in. I'm like, see, I won't even be comfortable seeing that around my mama right now today, okay? And I'm a grown behind woman. Like, she had some nerves. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And you can see Mercedes over there traumatized. I'm like, girl, Jesus, what they gonna do with this child, Terica? So of course she's over there all giggly with her boyfriend. Apparently, Kelvin or Kev, I think it's Kellon actually. And she was saying like he wants to keep the baby. He wants to be a little family. And Mercedes was like, he 14. How he gonna get a job? Well, he can get a part-time job at Crystals. And if y'all don't know, Crystals is like a little burger joint. If you live up north, it's pretty much a White Castle for the South. Okay. And so she was like, girl, you have no idea. Okay. I have no idea how much diapers and all of the things cost. Y'all cannot survive. Y'all cannot survive off of no part-time job at no fast food restaurant. Okay. But I don't know why. A small part of me feels like it's an older man. Like, I don't know. And of course, they're clearly saying this boy is 14. But I don't know, y'all. Something, I don't know. I don't know. But I just pray that he is within her age range. Okay. So this girl also proceeds to tell Mercedes that she is jealous of her because she has someone that loves her. So Mercedes popped her inside her head and she was like, when I have a baby, I'm going to never hit my child, my daughter. And Mercedes was like, well, I said that too. I was like, see, Terica, that would be ideal if the child was acting right. You over here pregnant, singing WAP, telling me about my life, trying to read me, telling me ain't nobody love me. I ain't got nobody. Like, hell yeah, you need to get a spanking. For real, for real. I know you 14 and pregnant. Bend over so I can give you this damn belt, girl. Like, calm down. Oh, child, I was so aggravated. So, Little Murder, he found his phone between the cushions, y'all. And y'all, Woody has been blowing his phone up. He getting all these notifications on TikTok. 17 missed calls from Woody. We see he's being added because the little track he did with Tina Snow, aka Megan Thee Stallion, is blowing the hell up. So yes, y'all, he's about to be the damn thing, okay? And so Woody is actually calling now, okay? And you see Woody over there in the bottom right. He over there shining up that gold hearse. I'm like, it cannot get any more shinier. I'm just saying. But he was like, we need to go back on tour. Like, the dates that we had in the previous tour that we had to cancel. Yeah, they want us to rebook and we need to go on tour with Tina. Like, we got a lot going on. Okay, we need to get this some money. All right. But of course, Murder is not really, that's not his priority right now. Like, he is still in mourning. And Wody, I don't want to say he wasn't being sensitive enough, but he works for a funeral home, for God's sake. So death is kind of like a normal thing for him at this point. So I could see him, not really being too sensitive about this Teak situation, even though he did know Teak, so it was a little annoying, but whatever. And then, he also said like nobody came for the body because he has Teak at his funeral home. And he was like, well, the way he referenced it seemed like he was gonna like just kind of bury him with the unknowns or John Doe's, what have you. And so Little Murder was like, nah. He a hurt village hustler. Okay, we're going to go ahead and send him off like a king. I was like, yes, I can't wait to see this funeral. I'm normally not one for funerals on TV like that, but I want to see this. Like, I want to see this. Give me all of the Gucci. Maybe Murder have on a Gucci, a custom Gucci suit next episode, okay, when the funeral comes. All right. So he hears another noise. So he goes upstairs to see what it was. And it was Clifford. He was trying to rearrange some things or find some items in his bedroom. Okay. And he was like, oh, so this is your domain. Okay. Because at this point, he hasn't been up in Clifford's room. He was like, yes, this is all me. This is all me. And I was like, okay, this is cute. This is cute. So, he was, looking at some of the clothes and what have you. And he proceeds to ask him like, so you always been like this? And he was like, yeah, I mean, this boy had a Gucci purse. He had a Gucci purse since he was 3, okay? And so he proceeds to ask Clifford, so what are you? Murder. So you don't know who you in love with, bruh? Like, what's going on? I was so baffled by that question. And I'm like, really? Ignorant, are we? But, Clifford, he kind of handled it well. And I was still annoyed, y'all. I was just like, okay. And so Clifford was like, so what are you? And he was like, what the world won't allow me to be. I was like, well, that is true. I do believe in that statement. But at the same time, you do have the option to live in your truth. But the lifestyle he's portraying is definitely polar opposite, or not necessarily accepting of his true feelings internally. So I definitely understand the struggle. But this was, a decent little scene over here. And Clifford proceeds to call him Clifford with his no, he calls Little Murder Cisco. He was like, who the hell is Cisco? And Clifford was like, fool, you don't know who Cisco is? He was like, of course I know. I'm just joking with you. He's like, ugh. I would just look at him too. I was like, I'm judging you. What you mean you don't know who Cisco is? So Terica, a little pregnant behind, had to pee, okay? So they pull up at the little diner. I forgot the name of the diner, but the diner that everybody frequents in town, or at least the black folk, okay? So Mercedes, telling her, like, squat, don't sit. I was like, yes, please tell her, okay? Please tell her. I actually have the little, from Amazon, I bought the little paper seats, like the little toilet seat covers, whatever. Just in case, but I typically like to squat. But I ain't got the Meg Thee Stallion knees, y'all. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, hovering is kind of hard sometimes. TMI, but whatever. So she's glaring through the window, and she kind of sees like a mother and a daughter figure, kind of like, not necessarily arguing, but having an intense like conversation. So she flashbacks to her and Patrice at this restaurant when she was a teenager, y'all. So we see this little guy, he looking back at, Mercedes and Patrice. But I don't know, I wasn't clear on who he was necessarily looking at. So it was time to pay the bill, y'all. So Patrice was like, I'm a little short. How about you do your little thing? And so she proceeds to look back at the guy. And of course, they reference that Patrice would have Mercedes doing things like this. But I'm like, Patrice, you so trash. You so trash. How you going to take her someplace and you didn't have the money? You didn't have the money. Y'all could have had a struggle meal at the house, okay? Oodles and noodles was probably still 5-10 cents back then. Like, girl, you have some effing nerve, okay? Well, actually, I think this is not probably the same diner as previous episodes, but I was aggravated. Like, how you go someplace and don't have enough money to pay for it? Like, are they still allowing people to wash dishes if they can't pay the bill? Or are they calling the cops? Like, let us know. But apparently, Mercedes came prepared. Okay. She was like, mama, I got the money. She was like, okay. So she got her wallet. She's getting the money out, bailing her mammy out. And we see a little gold wrapper. She was like, what is that? A condom? And she was like, mommy. I'm like, come on, girl. Come on, Mercedes. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate her for being safe, but girl, I'm gonna need you to do a little better with concealing things, okay? But Patrice says, I ain't gonna let you be no hoe. But I'm like, but you asking her to do her thing. Like, what exactly her thing? Like the bend and snap? Shout out to Legally Blonde. Like, what is her thing? Twerking in the middle of the diner to get this guy's attention? Like, or how people be scamming now, like, oh, me and my mom, we can't afford our meal. Do you have any money to spare? Like, what was the thing? Girl? Like, how's you having your child out here like that? And we wonder why, like, Mercedes just cannot F with Patrice like that. Like, girl, and you see, she proceeds to wail and beat this girl's behind in the middle of this restaurant. And I'm like, bruh, Patrice, are you serious right now? Are you serious, girl? Oh my God, I was so disgusted. Y'all, let me know how y'all felt about this scene. Like, this was a whole hot mess. Child. Oh. So y'all, Mercedes comes clean because they passed the TCBY yogurt, okay? She was like, well, Mommy, what's going on? Like, we just passed the yogurt place. So where we going? She was like, well, we need to go see some options. We have a consultation set up in Jackson. And she was like, we going an hour and a half for a consultation? Well, like what people go there for. So they done drove to Jackson to this abortion clinic, and we see all these people outside picketing. And this is real. Like, I actually used to live near an abortion clinic, and I would have to drive past there, and these people were literally beat out with their signage. Like, it's so real. Like, and I've actually had a friend that I recall going into that same building and having similar experiences with people just boycotting and just trying to talk all out of it. It was a lot, y'all. That's a lot. Like, that is so, child. But I love what Mercedes said. She said these fools are pretty much going to be pro-life until the baby is born. And that is so facts. Y'all over here talking about Black Lives Matter, unborn lives matter, choose life. But when these Black lives come into the world, you set them up for failure. Straight failure. Police brutality, our education system. It's so many things out here. So many things out here that we can list, but I won't because I'm not trying to be here all day. But those were so facts. Like, oh my God. Oh, they need to put that on a t-shirt. She exactly said pro-life until the baby be born. Because she's from the South, so apparently she don't know how to speak quote unquote proper English. Okay, so we're at this ultrasound, and I'm like, oh, this girl is not going to try to go through no abortion after seeing this ultrasound child. But this child is 14 weeks and 4 days pregnant, so she's on the cusp. And yeah, y'all, I'm like, what we gonna do? So Terica, she is still undecided on what she wants to do. But yeah. This is a whole hot mess. So apparently grandmother done left the house and we can't find her. You see Clifford trying to figure out where the hell she went and they can't find. I'm like, dang, she run that fast. Because they heard a noise and they immediately, her and Cliff went downstairs, or Cliff and Little Murder went downstairs, and grandmother was like jetted. I'm like, grandma, like, how come you gone that quickly? So she proceeds to go through the woods, and she looks like she's about to like jump through this water or jump in the water. And I'm like, oh my God, grandma. Oh my God. But she was, just pretty much referencing that she's ready and everything. And I'm like, But I just had this little snippet about symbolism and water. And it says symbolism of water in the Bible is a significant part of our Christian walk. If you are a Christian, I can't recall. I know she made reference to religion, but I can't recall if grandmother is really religious or not. Excuse me for that. But it says water has symbolized the Spirit of God, cleaning and sanctification, God's word, and so much more. Water is so important in God's word that it is mentioned 722 times in the Bible, more often than faith, hope, prayer, and worship. So Little Murder and Teak, they eventually find her. She was like, well, if I can't go to the water, bring the water to me. So he takes her little bonnet or what have you, and fills it up with water and just started kind of, just tapping it on her face. And he was like, bro, like her fingers are like blue. We need to get her some help. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe she's been to the hospital and they ain't show it, but I just feel like that's a pivotal part of the plot. So I'm a little aggravated, but grandmother is tapping out, y'all. She is tapping out. So the nurse at the abortion clinic pretty much said, Terica will have to wait 24 hours to make a decision. That's the law. And so they're, checked into a little hotel. They're at the pool. And this guy, he looked like he low-key scouting. And so your girl Mercedes was like, she is 14, get away, R. Kelly. And I'm like, well, I couldn't really tell. Like, he could have been looking at you, but of course a mother knows, so I'm gonna be quiet. But yeah, I'm like, look at this predator. Look at this predator. You was way too old, sir. So we now see grandmother. She is going into the ambulance, And she was like, I'm never going to make it back home. I'm never going to see this house again. Long story short. And I was like, ooh, grandma, you probably right. I have a feeling that she ain't going to see the house again, y'all, too. Lord. But I love the fact that, on the bottom, we see Cliff and Little Murder kind of seeing her off. And I love the fact that they're together for this moment, because I don't know if Clifford would be able to hold it together if grandma had to leave, and he was by himself or she was by herself. So I definitely appreciated Little Murder being there at that moment. So Mercedes so Terica like, bro, I'm tired of playing games with you. You got to make a decision ASAP pronto. We keeping this baby? Nah, okay. And so Terica, she gets frustrated, runs in the bathroom, but Mercedes looks in the mirror and actually sees Patrice. And I was like, ooh. That's not a good vision, okay? And so Terica, you see her up there. She's, just kneeling down and just sitting on the ground in the bathroom. And we see Mercedes talking to her through the other side of the door. And, they have this, pretty much important conversation, to keep the baby, not to keep the baby. And, she pretty much tells Mercedes, like, you ain't never been no mama to me, like, why you still don't have me? And I'm a little annoyed because Terica, you was eavesdropping on Shell and Mercedes a few episodes ago. And it was clear, I thought it was clear, she made it clear that the courts, Patrice, Cortez was blocking Mercedes from getting custody. And I forgot to mention when Patrice started wailing on Mercedes about the condom and the money, she mentioned, like, the guy who gave her the money was Cortez and he loves her, what have you. So yes, this was an interesting scene. But mainly because I'm sure this is done on purpose, but as you guys notice, when Mercedes talking to Terica through the door, we see this mirror position and it's showing a reflection of Mercedes and herself. And so to me, that signifies that she's pretty much talking to herself in a sense. Like, yeah, we see, Erica's on the other side of that door. But I feel like this is kind of signifying, like, this was you. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was you 14, 15 years ago. So she's pretty much seeing herself all over again, because we know the cycle is repeating. Herself, of course. Katori Hall has not confirmed this yet, because it's literally like in the wee hours of the morning when I'm recording this. But I'm pretty sure this is, at least part of the reason why they put this mirror here and just kind of showing the cinematography as such. I don't think I'm reaching at this point, y'all. But I definitely love that part of the scene, okay? So Uncle Clifford, he in the shower on the upper left-hand side of this in a graphic or what have you, and he is just going through it. And he comes out the shower and we see Little Murder. He playing thong song, y'all. He got on the bow and everything, trying to cheer up Clifford. Okay, he got on like some leather pants with a little red thong over it, child. He over there low-key voguing. Like, it was real cute. I really love that part of the episode and the scene. Like, it was really, really cute. He was just trying to, cheer him up, because of course they had the little Cisco reference earlier. So that was hella cute to me, y'all. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. So they proceed to like plop on the bed and start laughing. I was like, oh yeah, you done danced your way into some draws, boy. Oh my God, that is hilarious. Okay. And before they, did the deed, they had an important conversation as well. And Clifford was pretty much saying, I love me some me, but people just can't understand how lonely it is shining so bright. Just when you're just so of yourself and unapologetically yourself, it can be lonely because people sometimes can't take that if that's not within the social norm. So, I just love that. But in this scene, this intimate scene that they had, Little Murder pretty much asked Clifford to go inside of him, which is a switch because we previously seen that Little Murder is a top. So I felt like that Little Murder is kind of showing some submissiveness, and that's, I guess, special because this, I don't know if he's, it doesn't really seem like he's done that before, honestly, based on his reaction. Of course, I can't tell, all the way, but it was definitely cool to, see him like, okay, being submissive, I'm under your care. Because at that point, they both needed comfort, and I definitely appreciated the symbolism of their scene. Okay. So yeah, it's the next morning, okay, and we are checking out of the motel, and the whole episode, Terica has been wanting to drive. She's been wanting to drive, and so she asked Mercedes, like, so what am I supposed to do? Like, am I going to have this baby or not? She was like, girl, this is your decision. You got to figure it out. And she throws the keys at Terica. She was like, we could go to Jackson or Chucalissa. Oh Lord, Chucalissa is your choice. And of course, Jackson is where the abortion clinic is, and Chucalissa is, of course, home. So you could just see her here. She has the keys in her hand. And I just thought that was a very powerful moment, because she allowed her daughter to make the choice. And she's pretty much said, hey, I'm good with it. Either way, whatever decision you make, I'm rocking with you. And I really, really enjoyed that part. But yeah, let me know, like, if you had a child in this situation, like, would you let them decide, or would you kind of make the decision for them? Like, I'm curious of what y'all think about that. So we see they get on the road. Terica's driving. And so we see a sign for Jackson, y'all. And I'm like, okay, what's about to happen? So we see her turn the signal light on. I'm like, okay, she about to turn on. And then we see on the bottom left, when they about to go into the turning lane, your girl Mercedes had a Kool-Aid smile on her, girl, like the Kool-Aid smile. And I was like, okay. So I see them going in the turning lane, y'all. But for a brief second, I was just like, she gonna veer off and go straight again. I was like, they playing with us. So I didn't feel comfortable until the point where I see the car really making that turn on the bottom right hand side. Because I'm like, Terica, you don't be changing your mind back and forth, girl. Come on now. Don't be doing this to us. So they're back home at this point, and I was curious, y'all. Your girl was curious because they kept mentioning TCBY, and they passed it originally because that's what Terica was craving. They have the little cups in the actual house. So I guess they went there before they went home. So I just, was kind of doing some Googling, and not to say that this is the reason Katori put it in there, but I just thought maybe this is possibly some fun facts. One, former First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton actually served as a board member of TCBY in the late 80s and early 90s. And of course, we know she was pro-choice in terms of abortion laws. But this cute little fun fact as well, TCBY, we see they had a poster in one of their restaurants on the bottom left-hand side. As you can see, they pretty much showed O'Rourke. He was actually opposing person for Ted Cruz, who's actually the senator of Texas now. But on the bottom right hand side, it kind of show like where they both stand in terms of specific topics and things in terms of their campaign. And so O'Rourke is pro-choice, and Cruz, of course, is pro-life. And of course, we're dealing with now this whole Roe versus Wade situation. So I don't know if this is necessarily the reason why Katori put TCBY in here. Because I do feel like everything is for a purpose. But this definitely shows that, TCBY is all about supporting people who are pro-choice. And I'll read the little caption. It says, a Get Out the Vote poster shows off O'Rourke's campaign, and TCBY, a local frozen yogurt shop, and a Beto pop-up office. Volunteers come here to collect materials, get trained, and call voters to provide them with information about when and how to vote, along with the reminders to go to the polls during early voting and on election day. So, I thought this was a cute little tidbit. Like I said, I'm not sure if this is the reason why she put it in there, but I do know if they start mentioning things numerous times, they mentioned TCBY or placed it in the episode at least 3 times. So, I just some Googles and just to see if this is possibly, relevant or not, even though we know the Roe versus Wade, the overturning came about maybe a month or so ago. And don't quote me because I'm not sure exactly when they started, reviewing that as an option. And I don't know if they, was actually filming. So, this could be a total coincidence, but I honestly probably feel like it's not. But I kind of just wanted to mention this whole situation. So, of course, looks like Terica went ahead and had the abortion. She's kind of, resting. Her feet is up. And they see Patrice Child on the commercial. Would buy for mayor. And also, I thought I think I did include it. I must have omitted it. I'm sorry, guys. But there was a billboard on the highway when it was on the way to Jackson of Patrice running for mayor. And I'm like, girl. But Mercedes was like, look, grandma. She was like, you are not to call her grandma. Okay. I told you need to call her Patrice. And then, the whole episode, Terica was calling Mercedes Sadie's. And then this scene, she said, she called her mama. And I was just like, oh my gosh, she called her mama. I'm sorry, y'all. I thought I put that picture in here. But Mercedes had a cute little smile. And she was like, Mama, am I going to burn in hell? Like, I guess, because she had an abortion, she was like, no, baby girl, but if you do, I'm going to be right there with you. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Riding for your baby, okay? So, y'all, Haley comes and visits Mississippi, aka Keyshawn and Derek. And, she said she has a little gift for baby Rico. She went to the outlet mall in Jackson and found something for the little baby, what have you. Of course, Derek, he was real suspicious. It's like, I ain't never seen you before. So I was not confused. I was a little like on edge because I'm like, okay, he's going to look in this bag. What is in his bag? Because I felt like it was something pivotal. Okay. And so Haley and Keyshawn, they go into a little room and they're, having a little conversation. And Haley is telling Rico this story about, her and her daughter. I'm like, Rico is tired of these lame behind, dramatic behind bedtime stories. Okay. She's like, girl, just read me Cat in the Hat or whatever. Like, stop telling me all your drama. Stop using me to get these messages across. Okay, I am tired. I am tired. You see, I look a little sleepy in the eyes. Like, I am tired, child. But Mercedes, Mississippi was like, girl, what is you talking about? And so she handed her the bag and there was a cell phone in there. And I was just like, okay. She was like, look up Haley Colton and call me when you're ready to learn how to swim, because she had all this analogies and whatnot in this story about, losing her daughter in the storm. So long story short, Haley was like, call a sister when you're ready to get up on Derek's ass. Okay. In layman's terms. All right. But y'all, look at this black eye that your girl has. Like, oh my God, that is a whole hell of a lot, y'all. Like, oh my God. So, Jesus Christ. So that was pretty much the end of the episode. I did also want to mention, I did notice when the EMT was talking to Clifford, he called Clifford him or sir. And no, he called him sir. And Little Murder corrected him, was like, no, that's a ma'am. And I was like, oh, yes, you are earning all of the points, my boy, all of the points. I really love the little details, y'all. And also when grandmother was going towards the water, she said, I'm coming, Beulah. And Beulah is Clifford's mother. But I still need more information on where the hell and what the hell is going on with the daddy and how the mama died, okay? But let me just think and see if I'm missing anything. And while I'm doing that, y'all, let me know what you guys rate this episode, okay? If you get an A, B, C, D, or F. Oh, and I also want to mention during Clifford and Murder's love scene, Clifford was trying to use a condom and Murder was like, no. And Clifford was like, so are you like negative? And he was like, yeah. But I'm like, so did you take a test since you had sex with Teak, Murder? Like, I feel like no. I feel like no. I mean, it's possible, but I feel like you didn't. I'm like, that's a risky move. But he was like, I want to really feel you. And I get it. You want that connection, but safety first. I'm just saying, like, always got to put your seatbelt on when you go in the car, bro. But hey, what do I know? What do I know? Okay. And there was one thing that Mercedes said. What did she say? Sorry, y'all. Oh, she said sometimes God uses the devil to give you your blessing. This is what she said to Terica while they was kind of like having that heartfelt talk at the hotel. And I just want to know, what do y'all feel about that statement? That was kind of, an interesting statement. I thought, like, I said, let me think on that. Let me think on that, okay? But y'all, that was pretty much episode 7. That's all I can think of. I hope I didn't miss anything, but I will be going live on my channel at 10 p.m. Eastern tonight, Sunday night, the 24th of July. Okay. And yes, I'm going to be kind of pretty much talking about some major points. I should have a special guest with me. And yes, y'all, in terms of my rating, I'm going to give it a B. Like I said, it's not my favorite episode of this season, but I feel like they gave us this to kind of spoon feed us because they're going to gut punch the F out of us on episodes 8, 9, and 10. Okay. But y'all, let me know what y'all think about the episode, your favorite parts. How did you feel about it? Like, let's talk down in the comments. Okay. And yes, please make sure you're sharing, subscribing, commenting, and doing all of the things for your girl. Okay. Until next time.